Your thoughts are constantly shaping your reality, but most people unknowingly sabotage their own manifestation every single day. Not because they lack desire, not because they lack goals, but because their mind is working against them. You might visualize what you want, you might repeat affirmations, you might even feel excited about your future. And yet, nothing changes. The opportunity never arrives, the money never shows up, the relationship never materializes. So the question becomes, if manifestation is supposed to work, why does it seem blocked for so many people? The answer often lies in something far more powerful than desire: negative thought patterns. Understanding how negative thoughts interfere with manifestation is one of the most important shifts you can make if you truly want to create change in your life. Let's break down why this happens. First, we need to understand a simple principle. Manifestation follows the dominant signal your mind sends, not the occasional thought, not the temporary excitement, but the repeated mental pattern you carry every day. Think of your mind like a radio transmitter. If most of your thoughts are hopeful, confident, and open to possibility, that becomes the signal you send into your decisions, actions, and behaviors. But if most of your thoughts are rooted in doubt, fear, or insecurity, then that becomes the signal instead. And here's the critical part many people overlook. Your subconscious mind does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe is true. So if someone says they want financial success but constantly thinks, money is hard to get, I'm not lucky, things never work out for me, their internal system is receiving a completely different message. The conscious goal says, I want abundance, but the subconscious pattern says scarcity is normal. And the subconscious always wins. This creates an invisible conflict inside the mind. On the surface, you may be visualizing your dream life, but underneath, a different belief is quietly canceling that signal. That's why negative thoughts are not just bad vibes. They act like a filter that blocks new outcomes. Imagine trying to grow a plant in soil filled with toxins. You can water it, you can give it sunlight. But if the soil itself is unhealthy, growth becomes extremely difficult. Your thoughts work the same way. If the mental environment is filled with doubt, fear, and self-criticism, manifestation struggles to take root. And here's where things become even more interesting. Negative thoughts don't only affect your emotions, they influence your behavior in subtle ways. For example, if you believe opportunities rarely work out for you, you may hesitate to act when one appears. If you believe people will reject you, you may avoid situations where connection could happen. If you believe success is unlikely, you might stop trying earlier than you otherwise would. In other words, negative thoughts quietly shape the decisions that shape your life. From the outside, it might look like bad luck. But internally, it's often a chain reaction triggered by belief patterns. Your thoughts influence your emotions. Your emotions influence your actions. Your actions influence your results. And those results then reinforce the original belief. This creates what psychologists call a self-confirming loop. If someone believes things never work out for me, they unconsciously make decisions that produce disappointing outcomes. When the outcome appears, the mind says, "See, I was right." The belief becomes stronger, and the cycle continues. This is one of the biggest hidden reasons manifestation feels inconsistent for many people. They are trying to change the outcome without changing the internal pattern that creates it. Now, here comes the key insight. The goal is not to eliminate negative thoughts completely. That's impossible. Every human mind produces doubts and fears. The real shift happens when negative thoughts stop becoming your default mental story. Manifestation begins to work more effectively when your dominant internal narrative changes. Instead of "things never work out for me," the narrative becomes "things often find a way to work out." Instead of I'm probably going to fail. It becomes, I'm learning how to succeed. These shifts may sound small, but repeated consistently, they transform the internal environment of the mind. And when that internal environment changes, behavior begins to change naturally. You take more chances. You stay persistent longer. You notice opportunities you previously ignored. You become more open to solutions. From the outside, it may appear that manifestation suddenly started working, but what actually changed was the internal system generating your actions. The soil became healthier. And once the soil improves, growth becomes much easier. This is why successful people often talk about mindset before strategy, because strategy without the right mental foundation rarely lasts. You can have the best plan in the world, but if your mind constantly tells you it won't work, that voice will slowly drain your momentum. On the other hand, when your thoughts support possibility rather than block it, your actions become far more powerful. Manifestation in this sense is not magic, it's alignment. Alignment between what you want, what you believe, and how you act. When those three things start working together, life begins to move differently. Opportunities become easier to recognize, progress feels more natural, and the future starts to look less like something you hope for and more like something you're actively creating. So if you feel like manifestation hasn't been working for you, the first place to look is not the universe. It's your internal dialogue. What story is your mind repeating every day? Because that story is quietly shaping the direction of your life. If you found this explanation helpful and want to go deeper into how your thinking patterns shape your reality, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And in the description below, you'll find a simple mental framework that helps you identify and restructure the negative thought loops that block progress. It's a practical tool you can start using immediately if you want to turn manifestation from an idea into a real, repeatable system.